What's up, Max? Homeless and arrogant one. I just know how your Valentine's Day was yesterday. Absolutely zero. Zero Valentines for you. I know this is a fact. Don't try and act like somebody actually has interest in you of the opposite sex or whatever you prefer in life.
I don't know how I win this argument. Like, do you have to show pictures or something?
I
Like,
still
do I need
think
to show proof?
but your re-virginizing plan is right on point, dude. By the time summer comes around and it's time to start racing again for you, you be re-virginized by tenfold. So you be all right.
Yeah. I've been kind of like during COVID, I've been kind of on it though, like the re-virginizing thing, because you can't have physical contact with people. So I've been sort of doing that by choice. By choice.
I'm sure
Not
by
really,
choice.
but I mean...
Anyway, it's the day after Valentine's Day. It's the day when all those flowers are probably ready to die and gonna be thrown out. I did not get anything for my wife for Valentine's Day. This is one holiday that I do not cater to. She did get me something though. That was nice.
Oh, by the way, I did actually get a Valentine's card. I just got it today.
Okay. From your mom, it doesn't matter.
No, from an actual female of the opposite sex.
Whoa, things are getting savvy around her. Whoa.
Yeah.
From an actual female.
Actually, you're actually wrong about it. I just got it today. It wasn't yesterday.
Oh, you have a secret admirer. Oh, very good, very good. Anyway, we're not here to talk about Max's re-virginizing or the amount of money people spent on St. Valentine's Day yesterday. I was so crazy. Like I was nuts. We're here to talk about a race that almost happened this weekend, but didn't really happen, and a few other things that might have happened or might not have happened in RC. So with that said, Max, I say it's time to drop that intro.
Nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast. Get ready for some serious bench racing. But be warned, we speak our minds, express our thoughts, and sometimes things can get a little rowdy.
Hate, and he just was influenced by the hate coming from the left, the hate coming from the right.
And let's get back to more club racing and less of this money-grabbing book racing.
It's hard not to be arrogant when you're always right.
Yeah. See what I mean? That's exactly why people call you arrogant, Max.
You may not agree with everything we say, but it's definitely worth a listen.
And our pick, can you stop whatever you're doing?
Join your host, Lefty the Great, with co-hosts and guests as they get together to chat RC.
Hey, after that race that I watched this morning, I have to talk about
it. There we go. $100 right here, $100 throw. Oh no! I like this.
Yes, indeed. Nitro's the glory, but E-Buggy pays the bills. What's going on, everybody? This is episode number 169 of the No Name RC podcast. I'm your host, Keno White, a.k.a. Lefty the Great. And to my left, my virtual left, is the guy who got a mystery Valentine's from a secret admirer who is an actual female of the opposite sex. It has been confirmed that a person of the opposite sex, see the quotation, sir, have sent Max a Valentine's. We can confirm that. Congratulations and welcome to the show, homeless, arrogant, and now I got a Valentine's on Valentine's Day, Max.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm like going to uni. Like you can't avoid this. You know, like this is.
Ooh, what you can't avoid the plethora of women throwing themselves at your homeless look that you got going on there. Anyway, enough about your love life. Enough about your love life. We have a podcast to record. What's up, Max? How are you? Happy 169 of the. You know who's gonna be mad at me? Jay Smoker, because he wanted to be on the episode 169. But I honestly don't really have much to talk to Smoker about. I'll see him in a few days. So he'll probably be at some point involved in the podcast at DNC. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. We're late this week. Max was busy yesterday. I was busy yesterday. I had like real life. I'll tell you my story when we get started. But thank you to all the patrons of the podcast. We greatly appreciate your support. We can't do without you guys. Shout out to the NNRC Squad around the world. We greatly appreciate you guys' support as well. If you guys wish to be a patron, there's a written in the description. There's a written there. In the written description, there's a link for everything that we're about to talk about. So thank you to the patrons of the podcast. Thank you to the NNRC Squad around the world. Keep liking, sharing, and subbing, and disliking, commenting on our videos. The YouTube's growing steadily but sure. We'd like to thank you guys for all of that. A big shout out, and if you guys can, please show our sponsors some love, because showing the sponsors some love shows the podcast some love. Invisiblespeed.net. I missed a meeting for that the other day. Actually, I believe I was recording, so I missed it. So check it out, Invisible Speed, the book, and the online course. TZO Tires. We'll meet up with those guys at DNC. High Tech RC. If you want looking for the NNRC next week, we'll be at the High Tech tent, which should be alongside the Mayako tent. That will be NNRC headquarters. We'll have, come check us out. We'll be recording from there. We'll be doing stuff from there. We'll have hats, shirts, and decals. I don't know why I grabbed my shirt for a decal, but we'll have that stuff for sale at the NNRC tent. And if you have somebody there, the High Tech tent, which will be NNRC headquarters. If you have somebody there and you don't want you want to get some swag and you want them to bring it back for you, just shoot me a message and we'll work something out where they can bring it back to you. Shout out to TNR Fuels. I'll see those guys soon. Beach RC, Brent's on his way out there. Techno RC. Shout out to them. Get to see Matt and those guys. Got to have a good chat with them at the Nationals last year. Lugs Racing Tires. Hang out with Bryce and all the Lugs guys. Mayako, I'll be hanging out with those guys. JQSM as well, I'll be over there. G-Spec RC Tuning, I finally get to meet Geoff. Shout out to him. Papa Willie's Traction Tonic. Shout out to Scooter and his family for their continued support. Racecraft USA, I guess I might get to the Racecraft Rager if I have time. I'll be kind of busy and I'm wanting to go sleep. Clinic RC, I'll meet up with Tony and his wife, Vicky, at race. Obviously, I'll be seeing Tebow, JTP, RC, RCGP, which is coming up in March, House of RC, that will be the base for all of our DNC coverage. And of course, my good buddy, RC Kevin. And shout out to all the guys that support the podcast. We greatly appreciate it. Before I go on, I do have a few shout outs that I want to get off. I had some people write in, shout out a few people to the Southeast community, to Jeff Lumia. I believe he went and he's going into surgery as we're recording this, or maybe he went in yesterday. He's the barn new track in Georgia, I believe, that opened up. He's the race director there. And one of the guys involved in the barn, he asked me to give him a shout out. So I want to wish Jeff Lumia great success with his surgery. And I hope that we see him back at the tracker doing his RD skills. You have some good friends, dude. So get well soon. Shout out to my buddy Vin Machada. Met him and his sons at the Nationals, and he was like, hey, man, we got this young kid up here named Austin Lobb. I think that's how you say his name. And he's like on the spectrum of autism, but loves RC. And that's something I really want to touch on maybe at a later base, but how this is a good sport for people with autism. I mean, that can do this. I know another friend, his son has autism, and it's starting to bring him out of his shell, RC. So he was just telling me that his sons have taken, Aiden and Dylan have taken him under their wing, coaching him, teaching him how to drive. He says he marshals every class he can all day long and is making good progress. He started with E-Truggy and he just built a stadium truck for indoor racing. Hopefully we can encourage more kids like him to enjoy and learn from the sport. And Vin Menchada says, the last podcast was really good. Love my buddy Max going science mode on all of us. So there you go. So shout out to Austin Lab and Vince Menchada and his sons Aiden and Dylan. His one son looks just like Aiden Horn, same glasses, AE hat, everything. And shout out to Austin Lab, man. I hope he does good in his racing and keeps it up. And our condolences go out to the Florida RC community. Mr. Robert Diamond passed away a couple of days ago. I do not know who he is, but a lot of people have messaged me and said what a great guy he was. And I believe Lance has organized a benefit race where all proceeds go to his family. So our condolences to his family and the Florida RC community. And I gotta say, happy birthday. It's a day early, but to my buddy Axel Owen, good friend of mine. We've just chatted by Facebook, but I'll get to finally meet him at DNC. It's his birthday tomorrow, 16th. So happy birthday to him. All right, Max. So real quick, tell everybody what you've been up to, and we'll go into some news and then talk about Montpellier. Ain't much news this week.
Yeah, much news. I've been sort of just doing school and living the university life a bit. But I have gotten sick, I think. I'm pretty sure I'm sick.
You said definitely don't sound too sharp.
Yeah, so that's a bit of a bummer. But yeah, I've been sort of slowly getting prepped for the season mentally and also like with the car and
Re-virginizing.
all.
Don't forget about
Well,
re-virginizing.
yeah, I need to practice that one a bit more.
You've been practicing it. Just stop your noise. Stop. Yeah, it's like full winter there in Finland. Ain't nothing to do. Heard the DR is crazy. It's like full tourist season. You know, Super Bowl was this past weekend. Congratulations to all the LA Rams fans. I kind of stopped watching football when Tampa got kicked out. Go Tampa. So this weekend was crazy here, just tourists and just, dude, so yesterday, we were supposed to record this yesterday, right? But I kind of was like, when I was about to go up to my office, I went to get my glasses and stuff. I was like, hold on, I'm missing a lens for my glasses. I need my glasses for my phone and for these screens and all that stuff. Couldn't find a lens. I'm like, what the hell? Thought my daughter might have, it comes out. Okay, I know my lenses and my glasses aren't supposed to come out, but you know, these ones do.
It is
Probably they need a tune-up. Couldn't find the lens. Had to go all the way, drive 40, 50 miles to town where I got them from. Order new ones. This time I ordered some anti-reflection crystal, lenses so I can use the computer and all that type of stuff. Fine, then I have to go back today to get them or tomorrow. All this type of stuff. Then I'm, on the toilet having my morning movement this morning. And guess what I find? The lens for the freaking thing right next to the book that I was reading while I do my thing in the morning. But I needed the anti-reflection lenses. This is what happens when you get old, Max. This is what happens when you get old and you have so much stuff going through my brain some days. And when you have a daughter like mine, you forget things. But it worked out. I do need to get the anti-reflection lenses, but it's not good because I'm leaving on Thursday to go to America. So it's like rushing around and doing all this type of stuff. And yeah, but anyway, I'll be in, that was stupid in it. I should have looked harder in the bathroom and I would have found my lenses. But I needed the anti-reflection lenses and I needed to get the lenses set and they're better. So it works out. So Thursday I'm out of here. I got to California. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to Santa Barbara this weekend. Unfortunately, I'm upset about that. I think it's just easy to stay at Rev. Yeah.
I wish it was a bit closer to LA, so like you wouldn't have such a distance. But yeah, it's amazing. Like the track.
I know.
The weather there is like pretty darn good. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. It's
perfect. It's perfect. I'm looking forward to it. Like track pants and hoodie weather. Hoodie in the evening, track pants during the day. Yeah, good. I'm ready. I am ready. All right. Well, you know what, Max? Let's get into some news real quick. So our news is brought to you by High Tech RC, and High Tech is excited to introduce their latest in their DB series of brushless servos. This is their low-profile servo aimed at 10-scale two-wheel drive buggy and four-wheel drive called the DB778WP. It's manufactured with our high technology industrial servo innovation. The DB78 design and premium quality construction was built for demanding commercial applications, yet its superior torque makes it perfect for hobby use for 1/10 scale two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive off-road buggies and touring cars. It's got the same efficient brushless motors, and it has an IP67 rated waterproof case if you need it for the crawler guys, want to take it, or boat guys as well. And don't forget, we have the high-tech two-year warranty. So if anything goes wrong with the servo, you can send it in and they will replace it with, a new servo, I believe. So check it out. It's their new servo. It's all the dimensions. All the specs for it. It's pretty powerful. I mean, it's up to 283 ounces of torque at 8.4 volts, which is way more than enough for, 7.4 or whatever. And that's way more than enough for 10 scale. So check them out at High-Tech RC, www.hightechrc, where to buy to find your nearest retailer. And thank you to High-Tech RC for all their support and their support of the podcast. All right, not much action going on in news today. Two things I saw that I wanted to talk to you about, Max, were I saw that Thomas Musso was running a 3D printed front wing on his car this weekend. I've never seen that before.
That's I think that's a seismic thing. I'm not sure, but a lot of Frenchies do that.
Really?
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't really know why they do it, because I think Lexa would be a lot easier. That's actually
a bit
cool.
stronger.
That one I've seen.
Right.
That one
I did
saw
see
as well.
this. So
this is cool, because like the HP, the box is a bit, well, not good.
Yeah, this
So
is for
I
the
like this
e-buggy, it
much
looks
better.
like. J&T Barons have made this. It's the J&T's E819 receiver box, designed to eliminate the original receiver box and help with a cleaner layout, eliminate the need for extension wires, blah, 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 blah. Hardware not included. I thought this is a good idea. I like this. This is like my favorite thing on the news I saw this week. Look how easy. It would be better if you could see your transponder number right here, I guess. I would put my transponder here. No, that's just my lap. Oh, well, I guess you're my lap. It just says my lap, sir.
Oh, okay, so it's the wrong way around.
Yeah. But I did not find any other news that I was really worried about talking about besides those two things this weekend.
Okay, so that's the news. A 3D printed front wing and radio.
Yeah, that's the only things that
signal.
caught my eye this weekend. Because, we have this race that we're going to talk about real quick. Or almost race, because it wasn't really a race. It was a race, but it really wasn't a race. But
they got to racing a bit, but it was
unfortunately not as much as we wanted it to be.
Yeah.
So if that said, I think that's all the RC news we got for this week. We're just gonna go right into the Montpellier GP.
I think everyone's like getting prepared for DNC. Like every team is saving like part. They're gonna make those big releases at DNC. I know.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure A is gonna have new stuff. TLR will probably release their new buggy. So there's gonna be a lot of stuff at DNC.
I forgot about that too. So there's gonna be a lot of new stuff coming out. Well, with that said, let's get into our Montpellier Almost GP race recap. Brought to you by TNR Fuels, because here at the NNRC, we're all about that glory, and that glory is nitro. TNR Fuels is the hottest nitro fuel in the market, owned and operated by Chris Nelson and his family, made by racers for racers. TNR Fuels is currently available throughout the USA and internationally. I don't know if he's got it in Europe yet. For more information to support the company, you can check them out at www.tnrfuels.com or hit up Chris directly at chris@tnrfuels.com or contact them on House of RC or Facebook. Thank you to Chris and his family. I look forward to seeing those guys this weekend. Next weekend. I might see them this weekend as well. And I'm getting excited to go to California, dude. I'm just got to say that. I got to say that. I'm getting excited. I haven't said that. So I can't wait. And I appreciate their support of the podcast. So, Max, before we all, DNC and all this stuff's coming up, we was excited about this race at Montpellier this weekend. And I'm sorry, but I'm super disappointed that we did not get to see. I think it's a 45-minute final or 1 hour final that they do usually.
They usually do actually an hour, so it would have been an hour final too.
I feel so robbed. I feel so like, what the fuck? Like, I just wish they had a rain day or something, or like, I don't know, like, oh. Like, I was so, it's like, all right, we finally got things going. The coverage is pretty decent. I can track it with my phone. We could do all this type of stuff. And then the fucking rain come, and then they call the race. I'm like, this is Europe. You're not supposed to call it in the rain. You're supposed to still be able to race. Anyway, we're talking about the Montpellier GP that happened this past weekend. Unfortunately, the A final was rained out, so we didn't get to see the 1 hour A final. We have to talk about how the results were delivered out to people. But let's start off with just okay. I'm gonna be honest with you. You talked to RC Mag about doing this with them, and they said there was gonna be no live coverage of the race, and then they had live coverage. So I'm a little either they didn't want us to be a part of it, or we lit a fire under their ass so that they had live coverage.
Yeah,
And
I think because he said the guy who usually does it is not gonna be there, and there's not gonna be a live. So maybe they were like last minute, like, hey, we need some live because let's be honest, like the live quality was quite horrendous. And if
yes.
you compare it to the past 2 years, which it has been on par with any of that, like I'd rank it just as good as RC Racing TV, just they speak French,
Mm-hmm.
which they have had in the past years. So yeah, obviously they didn't have what it's supposed to be. So I'm pretty sure they just put something together last minute, and it wasn't that good. But that was sort of the first thing I was a bit annoyed by.
Yeah, I was super annoyed by that. And then everyone's like, well, it didn't. Everyone's like, well, it's got live feed. I'm like, I know, but they told us no that it wasn't. So we
Yeah,
had like this whole weekend planned out. It actually worked out for the best because we would have planned out all this weekend for no final. It would have been so
yeah,
disappointing. But yeah, I was just like, and then like Circus goes there, like Circus, like I told you this morning, Circus. I was enjoying their website this morning. I was looking at under the hoods for different racers and just going
yeah,
through some of the pictures and all that stuff that he does good at. And I know he tried to do some lives too, but that's not his thing. You know
yeah,
what I mean? That's not his thing. I understand that, but man, I was, you know, I'm gonna get this right off, right out of the right off the bat. Her, I'm super disappointed in the coverage. We big up the European races to being so much better, and then this flopped like on that whole thing. It got good near the end. Don't get me wrong. We had an overlay, all that type of stuff. But it just by the time things got figured out, there's a lot of confusion with the schedule. There's a lot of confusion with the free practice, all that type of stuff. So Max has got to sneeze. So for me, it was utter confusion, and I didn't figure it out to probably Saturday. You know what I mean?
yeah. Well, for me, I know like my RCM, so I wasn't that confused. But
Right.
I mean, I think the way the format they chose to run seemed to not
Weird.
work out because they ran the free practice, and then they ran
Hmm.
cultural practice, and then they ended up with a free practice. So I don't really understand why they would do it like this,
Me neither.
because now everyone posted, like, I don't know if Circus posted, but a lot of
I
other
posted
outlets
it. S-Works
posted
posted
like
it.
the last round as the deciding round, even though it was just a free practice. That was
Yeah,
like
I
on
got.
Friday, very ridiculous. Then on Saturday, the timing just cut out completely. Like they didn't just have timing at some point online.
I
So
know.
that was another thing.
I
And then like there's so much stuff that went wrong.
You couldn't
The
tell
live
because you couldn't
thing,
tell from the video either. So I turned on the video. I'm like, oh, we have video. Oh, this
yeah.
is Q2. And then Tyler looks like, dude, this is Q3. What are you talking about? Like, you know what I mean? And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I'm just getting off scoring. It's like, no, look, Boots is already done. They already had this third qualifier, on the third, or going to the third qualifier. I was like,
That I mean, I remember when this was sort of the case at Buggyland as well last year. Like
mhm.
IBC was pretty good. IBC was actually great. Inforce, he was there. They used my
Yeah, it
RCM
was
and it
great.
actually worked. But like Buggyland, a lot of these other races that has been during COVID in Europe, like I gotta be honest, like something needs to change now because
Yeah.
Europe, like I remember like 2019, like probably 2018 was the best when Neo was still on. You had all these big races around Europe, RC Racing TV, we had Euros, everything. Obviously, hopefully that'll be the case this year as well. But right now, like since like COVID, like even like the EOS series and ETS, like the quality of the content has gone down, and it obviously has to do with Neo Buggy and the Red RC stepping down,
Hmm.
which were sort of the number one sources of media in RC period, but especially in Europe, because Live
Hmm.
RC is still doing what they do in America. Their sort of media content has never been on par with like Neo Buggy or something like that. but they still do it. That still exists. Whereas in Europe, like, yeah, Circus RC does a good job, but it's mostly for the French audience. Same with Info RC does a great job for the Spanish audience, and they are like smaller news sites. But there isn't one sort of hub of information anymore, which NeoBuggy used to be. Phil would have tens of thousands of people reading the site, like, because that was the source of news in RC in general, in 8 scale especially. So that's sort of now missing. We don't have proper live coverage of a lot of these races. We don't have sort of this round by round coverage which we usually have. And that's something like I excused it a bit at Boggyland, because I was like, okay, so like maybe like he wanted Circus to be there, he didn't have anyone else to do it, and like that was sort of the race got rained out and all that stuff. So I was like, okay, but this race, none of that. There was none of that. So like I'm not saying like European sort of media is like dead, or like we won't be
They
having
need
any
some
live
help.
streams of races. But something needs to change. This is like, if it keeps like this, yeah, this shit is not acceptable.
Oh, great.
Really.
So we agree on that. So we're good with that. We agree with that. Okay. So that's out of the way. We were not happy with the coverage of this. You know, I did a little blog to catch everybody up on Saturday, which I thought was all right. You know, and I was just, because after everybody kind of got on me Friday about having the wrong thing up and no idea what was going on. Even the people that I was talking to at the race weren't too sure. So we got that confusion of Friday out of the way. We didn't know what was happening in practice. Boom, boom, boom. Like, yeah, like let's just get over practice day. Period. Let's go right to qualifying day, which was the best day of racing for me, which was which I missed a good bit of because, you know, they started so early, but I guess they were starting early to miss the rain that they didn't miss. So qualifying, man, right off the bat, like Juan Carlos Canas, untouchable. The only person to touch him that out of those 3 rounds was the biggest surprise for me of the whole weekend. Marco Barufalo. That's one of the guys who I was talking to who got me is like, oh no, man, I'm supposed to be in 3rd or whatever. And I was like, oh, sorry, like I didn't know. Biggest surprise for me this weekend. How fast that got.
I think when me and you spoke about it after he had TQ'd, I sort of said like, I wonder if he's just that good, or if the Americans need to step up a bit, because like,
or maybe
like,
his
let's be
wild
honest,
style
like,
is good for it too.
Maybe, but
Yeah.
he might be doing something completely different setup wise to the car,
Maybe.
which could be something like he prefers. But yeah, come on, like this dude, like, yeah, never seen a techno go this fast in Europe. So this is pretty crazy to see. I like to see another track as well, because this track doesn't really require that much corner speed. It's more technical, so you can sort of swing the car around and be punched. So perhaps that is, and he's running systemic tires obviously, which are great on this track. So perhaps the combination of all that is enough to sort of on
he was
this level.
fast, dude.
But he was a fast, not like
let's see. Q1 he was
there.
Q1 was his worst one.
Third,
Q1 was his worst one. Then he comes back and gets a second in Q2, and then
he TQ'd Q2.
No, TQ'd Q2, and then comes back and gets a second on the third TQ, third round. Sorry. Oh man,
so that's no joke. Like, it's like against Ongaro, Berton.
Yeah,
a lot of these guys, like that's no joke, dude.
Yeah, I would say, in my honest opinion, he's the only one that deserves to be on that podium that we have right now.
I mean, if you looked at Ongaro driving a semi, that was just beautiful. Dude was just drifting.
It was.
I
we'll talk about that.
Yeah,
it was great to see him, but it was.
Yeah.
But qualifying went bad for a lot of people. So overall qualifying, we had Juan Carlos Canas first, Ruffalo second, Ricardo Berton, very good race for him. Had a very good race going for him. Elliott Boots, 4th. Who is Theo Lemaire? I asked you this.
So I did a little bit of sort of investigative journalism. So I pretty much looked at his Facebook. So he's a French driver who used to drive for TLR in the past, switched to HB, Sismic backed HB, in sort of I believe it was end of 2019, so just pre-COVID. Since then he has been getting like during that 2020 year he got pretty down fast. So I don't know if he lives in a Reims area, but he, at least on his Facebook, he races quite a bit there. He races a lot with the Sartels, and so he has some decent competition all the time. He has previously been like on par with like Ronafog on qualifiers and stuff. He seems to do really well on qualifiers, but the mains he seems to struggle on looking at results he had. So maybe just needs a bit more experience, sort of maturity in driving. But yeah, crazy fast results. Like he's been like TQing rounds even on sometimes. Fourth in French nationals last year in the series. So that's a good result. Like he's beaten like I believe it was Tom Robin, Renault Savoia, and Jerome Maiguan in front of him. So all of the rest of the Frenchies was behind him, which is great for this guy. Someone said he was
He's the
17.
top French guy. Top French
Yeah,
guy going on a qualifying.
after qualifying at this race, he was the top French guy. I read his Facebook post after the race, and he said himself he was a bit surprised.
Very surprised. I
To
was
be
surprised.
yeah.
Well, we
Yeah.
expect that at this race. We expect one serious dark horse.
Oh yeah,
One
yeah, we
local guy
do
to do
kind
that.
of, but still, like he finished in the B main at Buggyland. That was the only race abroad I could find of him. So this guy definitely is a bit of an unknown, but like results like this, if he can keep it up, wow, like that's crazy.
Ongaro in 6, kind of a lackluster qualifying for him. He had a second in the first
Yeah.
round and then like 2 sevens. So it's like, But we've seen
Yeah.
him be like this, often qualifying and then come
This is-
fast in the main.
This is also one thing. Yeah, that's a great point that he a lot of times can just miss qualifying completely and then just dominate in the main. But also, like John Skidmore posted on Facebook that like the warm up thing, like is pretty annoying. Like this race had a warm up 2 weeks ago. This track is very specific tire wise, very specific setup wise. It's not like a regular European track where you just can
Right.
get into. It's very technical. You have to drive very precise. You have to know what you're doing. So I can like Ongaro.
I agree with him.
warm-up,
You can see where the people that didn't have the warm up practice
Yeah.
were bad. We're gonna get into that, but like all these people went to the warm up. I'm pretty sure. I think Boots went to the warm.
Ongaro didn't. So Ongaro is the only driver
He did it.
in the top 10 who
Okay.
didn't go to the warm up.
Really, I didn't realize that.
So every other driver in actually, let's say, so
if he had went to the warm up, he probably would have been TQ.
probably. But in top 15, there's 3 drivers who weren't at the warm up. So that's Lee Martin, Berkan Kilic, and Ongaro.
Yeah.
So
And then right after that, you got Johnny Skidmore and
yeah,
like
Montero,
Skidmore. There's
blah,
other Skidmores. I don't think the Balders went
no,
either.
there's Skidmore. There's 2 of them.
William Skidmore and Johnny Skidmore. Sorry. Burak wait on in 23rd, and a lot of these guys just didn't go to the warm up.
Yeah, but I'm a bit surprised to see Burak that far down, and also like he didn't bump for the quarter, so he was in the quarter and didn't bump, whereas Berkan straight to the semis and bumped to the main. And reading his Facebook post, he said he had more speed, which I mean everyone says, but I take him at his word there. I think he has been looking good recently, so I don't know if this is just an off race with Burak because he has had it in the past. He has had races where he's a bit off the pace and then next race he's dominating. So maybe this is just an off race for him. Berkan is more consistent than Burak for sure.
Well, I think Berkan gives less fucks, and that in turn, he was on her, and I talked to him. I was talking to him while he was there, and he was telling me what's going on. I think he just kind of don't care as much, as maybe as Burak. And that probably helps him out a lot if we just put on a little bit of the rain swept finals. By the way, this is all from RC Mag during their live yesterday. You can see that on Sunday it was raining. We're going to talk about that. Maybe I should go get some qualifying from that's what I'll do. I'll go get some dry
Try to
qualifying.
find out. But yeah, just in general, I think the track itself looked good. The race itself was sort of looked all right, but just like it doesn't, like, to people away from that event, it doesn't look good. And I think that sort of hinders a lot of these big events because we don't have Neo anymore. We haven't had a BT contest in a few years. So in Europe, we actually lack these big races. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a situation where drivers like Ronefalk and Ongaro actually have to go to America to race like on a competitive level because all of these sort of racers race at their own country. Like Ongaro races almost every weekend in Italy, same with Barufalo and Berton and Polito, these guys. They race with each other in Italy. Batia and Canas race with each other. UK races with each other. But these big events that sort of everyone from Europe comes together, those are slimming down, and it's very important to keep sort of the prestige of this event alive. And that
Mm-hmm.
is, in my opinion, a lot of it is sort of the media appearance and the how it looks to the outside. Obviously, some like the event itself matters. Like the BT contest is very famous for it being very chilled down and a nice event to go to. But for people who are not yet going to the event, they have to see something before they are like, hey, I'll buy tickets next year and actually go.
Yeah, I
So
agree with you there. I told you after this that Europe needs another indoor race like Neo. You know, like a one-off place where they do a race
yeah,
and people, more international people come. But
yeah,
I mean,
I
we
sort
are
of
lacking
disagree
these
with
big
that.
races in Europe. I mean, if you
Yeah,
think about it, it used to be. It seems like it was a lot
yeah,
more, but now we have the Euros, we have this, and I think what other big race like Buggyland, maybe IBC seems to
yeah.
get a good bit of
So
people.
yeah, the IBC is a rather new event, but there was like BT contest, Neo Buggy, Italian Job, Buggyland. Yeah, there was probably I'm missing a few probably, but there were
Hmm.
events where it was actually like the top guys. Like at that time, those events were sort of thriving. It was like Ronefalk and Batia and perhaps Sangetin also was there on the Italian
Yes,
event.
Sankatine had a good qualifying, eighth as well.
Yeah,
I have to give in a little Mayako plug. Uh,
yeah. I
very
think
good.
for him, he sort of struggled a bit from the rain for sure.
Hmm.
Like qualifying
Well,
straight to the semi and
we'll talk
all
about the
that.
mains, and I just
Okay.
wanted to go through a few more. Reno Savoya down in 12. I was shocked to see him down there. Maybe I think that comes down to tires. I'm pretty sure
Oh yeah,
he had to run,
I'm pretty
AKA
confident. Yeah,
Yannick Igon, French legend in 11th. Majube looked fast at times, but still in
yeah,
a 13th. Like I said, Johnny Skidmore, Remy Bermudez was another person that done pretty well as well.
yeah. So
William
he's a
Skidmore,
yeah,
Bullrock, Jordan Lott was another guy who I saw a name a lot, but Bruno Coelho will not be happy with a 26 qualifier, even though I know he doesn't have any experience on this race. But you can see, like the guys who didn't have any, like we said earlier, no warm up experience,
yeah,
they qualify quite bad. A lot of Jamie Clancy down in 35th. Like we usually these guys are way up higher on the totem pole. So obviously, I have to say that before we go on to anything else, is our warm-up races needed anymore, or are they just an unfair advantage? I think it's definitely an unfair advantage on a track like this that doesn't
yeah.
change at all from 2 weeks ago at all. It's probably exactly the same, you know, and you're gonna
I
learn
don't
it, you know, all
actually
the tricks.
I don't actually mind if there's a warm-up race and only the locals attend it
Yeah, so you're
because
okay with the locals attending it, but
yeah,
not
because the
like
locals
pro
can
guys.
practice on the track. Like the locals can practice on the track
Right.
anyway. So for
Mm-hmm.
the race organizers and everything, it's nice to have sort of a pre-event, get the people together, know who you're working with if you have new guys on the race director team. So I think that's something nice to do, and you can sort of collect a little bit of money for the club, so you can buy stuff for the
Mm-hmm.
event itself. So I think that's nice. I think that's okay. But when it comes to like Montpellier, where this like if I like top 15, all like most of them not even French were at this event. Like three from top
Right.
15 wasn't
Right.
at the warm-up. So that's like over 10 people flying over or driving over hundreds of kilometers to this event just for this event warm up.
Mm-hmm. I
So
get what you
that
mean.
is, in my opinion, like it's money spent to no
That could have
nothing
went
of
to
sort of
another event.
value.
to be honest.
So instead of doing that, why not save that money? Go to probably DNC. Canas isn't going to DNC, but he went to the warm up of this race. Yeah, granted, he would have probably won if it stayed dry and he TQ'd the event and all that. But I mean, he probably would have been very up high without the sort of without the warm up event.
Mhm.
So it's, to me, this is just okay for the race organized. They probably get more money getting people from abroad, which is nice for them. But I think for sort of the, like, if you want to actually do good at this race, it's almost like you have to do the warm up.
Mhm.
Ongaro ended up winning, so yeah, I don't want to hear none of that. But without the rain, probably wouldn't have won.
Yeah, we gotta talk about this. We gotta talk about Sunday because we're talking about this, we're talking about that, and people who are just tuning in don't even know what happened Sunday. So, but with warm up racing going on, I too saw Skidmore, Johnny, the father, talking about warm up races, and I get it. Like the money it costs to go to this race twice is
Yeah.
expensive, and you put you
Yeah.
on the back foot right off the bat. So maybe there needs to be some rules or something set up there, so just locals only.
I don't think there should be rules, but I think just people in general should sort of have the idea of, hey, let's not go to the warm up race, let's just go to the actual race.
Yeah, but
I
then
think-
if
I
there's no
think-
rules, then there's no.
Yeah, but I mean, if people in general just
People
have
want to
the
win,
attitude
dude.
of that,
People
I
want to
think-
win. Like, hey, if they know that
Yeah, I
going to
don't
the
know.
warm up race is gonna let them win, and they can go do it, they're gonna do it. It's called racing.
Yeah, but I think
it's-
teams should team managers should be like, hey, we're not gonna send our guys, we're gonna save money for this other race, and everyone should just like work together on this. Like, hey, let's actually have a fair competition for all and see who's best, and not everyone sort of try to stab each other in the back and having like
that's
spending
not
money
gonna
for
happen.
no
This is
extra
racing.
value.
Not gonna happen. This is racing.
Yeah,
This is
but
racing.
I mean, it
It
can
was fair.
happen if
You know
people
what?
want
At
it
the
to
end of the day, everybody was able to. Everybody the warm up was. Everybody was able to attend. If you couldn't attend, that's not their fault. That's what they would
No,
say.
but they're spending money for no value.
I agree.
Like,
I
there's-
agree. Well, obviously
yeah,
there was some
so-
value because they done well.
Well, not really, because Ongaro ended up winning.
Yeah, but that was different circumstance. Different circumstance. All right.
Yeah,
That's
but
enough about qualifying.
here you see that like Canas and his team probably spent thousands of money because they went to the warm up. Now they went to this race and they practiced there after the event. So they probably spent thousands of money. Instead, they could have probably spent half of that, and they would have probably the same result.
Yeah,
See?
then
So
they
you're
could have had a
you're
Canas
taking
and
a big risk. You're taking a big risk on this one event, and you're spending money for nothing. But if all these guys went to all the events around Europe in different places, and sort of like all these other events would be popular as well, then we would have a lot of thriving events with a lot of top drivers and more chances for each to prove themselves.
right. And
better for
also if they
everyone.
wouldn't have went to the warm up race, Canas and these guys could have come to DNC.
Yeah,
And that would have been
you're
great.
like, yeah,
But I did hear Battier is going. He did post that he's going to be there, so that's
yeah.
good.
So Marosolo, Battier, and perhaps Ongaro, but not sure.
Yeah. Yes, Ongaro's good. I saw today he's
So, yeah,
practicing under
okay.
the lights for DNC. He said, "Okay,
So he's practicing like Tebow. You know, Tebow used to practice with a short course for the Finnish Worlds because it was so windy in Finland. So he wanted to sort of get the feel of how the car jumps. So he
Really?
practiced a bit with short courses. Yeah, that's
did
what
not know
I
that.
heard. Yeah.
Oh,
So
I know that.
Tebow is actually one of the most sort of what I've heard. So this is hearsay, but like what I've heard, he's one of the guys who actually preps to the Worlds like a maniac.
Probably, maybe. I can see that. All right, so Sunday rolls around, and if you guys don't know, they did have some lower finals on Saturday. This is IFMAR style, so it's done ladder style. You have odd. They call them A and B mains or odd and even. So you would have. How does it go? Basically, your A group is the faster group, right?
Yeah, so if you're first, you're A, you're second, you're B, third A, and so on.
Right.
So,
So it's
you
split up
even and
like
odd,
that.
but it's just A and B.
Right. And then everybody has to race in, even though Canas was TQ, he still has to race in. And what I like about this race is that they have LCQs too. So I was really looking forward to that. And they knew it was going to rain on Sunday too. So everybody's like, I don't even think we're going to race. I think it's going to rain all day. So they did get up to the semifinals. Let's go, Max. You take over while I find the rain rainy semifinals from
Yeah. So pretty much like they were just running like the track is oiled, so the rain is not gonna soak in. They were sort of like sweeping it to the side, just the water, so people could run while it was raining. And yeah, I mean it was fine up until the semis, and then they just said, okay, let's call it quits. I don't know if it started raining more
No,
or
it
it
got
was
really
just
wet. Like right about her.
yeah.
Look, this is so this
But it was
is
weird because the B semi was a lot faster. So I don't know what it was like because like did it start raining after the B semi or what happened?
oh this is
Well,
the
you gotta find you gotta find the spot where Ongaro is just drifting around. This kid was having fun.
yeah. I'm just all right. So this is
Yeah, that's the B. We started the B.
no, this is they're on the A group, aren't they?
No, Ongaro was in the B.
What are they doing? Just practice laps now?
This could be also
As
the
this
practice,
no, this is this
the semi
practice?
practice. I mean, they have semi practice as well.
It would be
You had the
great.
final on there before.
No, okay. This is the semifinal. This is semifinal.
Okay. Yeah, but
Let's see
pretty
if we
much
can
people were
find. Oh,
just
is
sliding
this
around.
Ongaro? No, we'll find it. But so yeah, both semi. Oh wow, both semis will run in these type of conditions. It was wet. It was muddy, but not too muddy. You know, with the oil, it saves that line, but it makes it very slippery.
Yeah.
But it made man, it was like watching Ongaro just drift around. This was pretty badass. I have to admit.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
so cool watching him. If
I'd
you can
like to see
find
that
it,
again, but it was crazy. So Ongaro is
I can't
leading
tell which
now.
one's his car now because
Yeah, that's Butterfly in there. You can see the way he steers it. That's Butterfly.
oh dude, guys were drifting like right up through all that whole
Yeah.
like we need to find it. But
Yeah,
I was
let's just
excited.
keep looking. I think they're filming that time, so it will
Yeah,
get.
yeah.
But I think this itself wasn't that bad.
Mm-hmm.
What I didn't understand was what they did is the B semi was a lot faster. So the track dried up. There was a groove. The tire. I don't know. Some people said like they knew what tires worked,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. So the B semi was a lot faster. And what ended up happening was like that. Like if you just took the times, it wouldn't be like the B semi would be top six and the A semi would be the bottom six in the final results. So that was sort of that wouldn't have been fair. So in F rules, there is a thing like if the conditions within the semis are set like different, so the conditions
Mm-hmm.
are too different where you can't compare the times, then you will arrange the cars in order of A B, sort of like you're first in A, you start first, you're first in B, you start second. So this is sort of how it, at least we've done it in Finland since forever. If the semis don't match, we just do this. Uh, And what happened here is instead of doing that, which is the normal system, at least for me, I don't know if French have a specific system for this. What they did is they took the time from the winner of B and the time of winner of A. And because the B final was so much like the B semi was so much faster, obviously the B guys won always, like the comparison between
Well,
winner
if
of
you went
B
by
and
just
winner
if
of
you went
A.
by results, this whole it was like 7 guys from this that would have beat everybody in the
Yeah. So I mean,
in this.
you couldn't go based on the results.
Mhm.
So they ended up going like so A first, B second, or sort of splitting. So if you're first in A, you're
Mhm.
guaranteed to be first or second. But I don't understand if they determine the results aren't comparable, they still compared the results between the winner of A and winner of B, and sort of that sort of decided the results between those two drivers. So if we went to the system we have used in Finland, which I'm pretty sure I haven't checked the rule book. I should have probably done it before the podcast, but this is pretty much what we always done in Finland. So if the times are comparable, A always goes first. So if you win the A, you always start on pole, and if you win the B, you always start on second. And if they would have done that, which in my opinion would have been the fairest option, it would be actually Igon who would have won. Now Ongara won because they took the times that they already made the decisions that aren't comparable and then compared Ongara's time to Igon's time. Ongara's time was better, so he won.
Mhm.
So that's like to
Well,
me, it's unfair to me, this is a complete sort of shit show. I don't know if French have a specific rule for this. If they do, then okay. But to me, this seems silly. Yeah, I definitely don't like the way they did the results.
I'm so confused that it's still, I don't understand it.
Yeah,
So,
well, I just explained it, so
yeah, and I'm still
you're gonna-
confused.
yeah,
So anyway,
Yeah,
they had to, so just so people know, the A final, which was like Yannick and was like Yannick, Juan Carlos Canas, and the Skidmores, I believe. Whatever, right? Let's see if we can.
Skidmore was in the B, so it was
Okay.
Ongaro, Brufolo, Skidmore, Coelho, Berkan, Pariente, Savoya. Those were in the B. So pretty much because the times weren't comparable and the B was so much faster, instead of it would be going sort of how I believe the rule book is A first, B second. Now with B first, A second. So I don't know why they did it. Maybe someone wanted Ongaro to win. Maybe French have different rules for this. I don't know. I probably should have checked, but to me, it's silly either way. At least that's what it feels like.
Yeah, so all these guys, like all the guys who ran in the B man, they basically got to run second. So they got to see what these guys got. And I think I heard so some people saying that they were using like slide locks, M4s, lines, and all this type of stuff. So they got to go out on a different time or just faster, period, by far, like even by like one lap at some point. Like I think, but it just seems kind of unfair for me. I think because we didn't get to see an LCQ. Now, if we would have seen an LCQ, then I think we could have said, all right, here's the final arrangement from first to finish. And then Ongaro probably would have won. Ongaro would have won anyway. You know what I mean? And then Yannick was
I don't think the LCQ would have changed anything.
I think that I
think it could have cemented
positions. It could have cemented the fact that we had a ranking order from there on to the beginning.
No, but
you know what I mean?
Sort of everyone had run a main final after the semi. So after you
they could have done that too, yeah.
Yeah, so like that's what they did. So this is based on the semis. So after you completed the semis, you can determine final results. That's just the FR rules.
Yeah,
LCQ isn't part of so that's sort of an extra final.
Yeah. I'm still confused. I guess the SRX guys are kind of like, I guess the SRX guys feel like they're done because they got done hard. They should have went back to qualifying. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's one group of people that say.
I don't think they should have gone back to qualifying because both semis finished, and they drove the full race, and they were 20 minutes too, so it wasn't.
Yeah, but then the factor that messes this all up was that the tracks are completely different. You know what I mean?
You should have just.
So that's why it should have went back to qualifying for that. You know what I mean? So it should have went back to qualifying.
No, but it would have been so that Igon would have won, Ongaro second, then I can't remember who it was. I think it was Canas would have been third. So it would have been A first, B second. So the times wouldn't have had any effect on it. It would have been, or at least like if this isn't happy for everyone, you would have done what once was done at the FR warm-up, a Euros warm-up, where there were two winners. So the guys, both who won the semi finished first, and then the guys who finished second in the semis finished third. So they had shared position. That's also one way to do it. So I think that could have been fair. Obviously, messes up like the trophies and stuff. So I prefer the A first, B second method. Then sort of after that you separate them. But yeah, I don't know. I think,
you know who the big winner in all of this was? Johnny Skidmore.
He kind of was, but actually that's a good segue to the fact that there was one X-ray in top 15 after qualifying, and after the final results, there were, I believe, 5 or 4, at least 4 X-rays in the top 12.
If he would have went the original way, he would have finished third, right? Like if he would have just done it like with all the mains,
with
like
times,
with times, he would have finished third. And then I believe, which which wouldn't have been, he was not on third place all week. But then he did lose a little bit. He ended up in 5th. I think he goes home happy with a 5th or 3rd because he wasn't really on point this weekend.
He wasn't at the warm up first this big
Yeah.
race with X-Ray, and like to me, it's incredible how perfectly like the rain was like a straight up gift to X-Ray because, like I said,
Oh, Coelho up
one
in
car,
7th.
one car,
you know,
one car in top 15 after qualifying, and in final results they had 5 cars in the top 12.
That's crazy.
So that's insane. Like
Crazy.
even S-Works, who did pretty well all throughout the event, they just had 3 cars in the top 12. And
Wow.
like HB had 1, Techno 1, Associated 1, and Mugen 1. But that's like the distribution is crazy. Like that was like rain straight up was like, hey, like X-Ray, your weekend was saved.
Ooh, yeah. Speaking of X-Ray, I was looking at the pictures. They had, like we've been saying, in Europe, they had a S-Works, had a slightly smaller team there. But man, X-Ray had a squad there. But see, a lot of guys from Portugal came
going
as well.
On.
So, all right. So, in your opinion, did the best man win this weekend? Like, it just seems like Ongaro figures out a way to win no matter what.
Yeah, it's kind of silly because this was sort of Robert Battia's thing before as well. Like, he would always, like, even though he was off a weekend, like in sort of 2011 to 2014, would somehow always end up winning the warm-ups and these sort of not Euros, but the other races. So this is sort of Ongaro now. He seems to just always win, like Bodyland qualifying the B or something, and then like barely like made the main, and then just wins by a lap. I gotta be honest. If they actually ran on dry and ran a 60-minute main,
you don't think he would have?
Actually, I think he could have. I think he could have, but I still would have picked Canas over him.
Dude, I think he just got lucky. He just got lucky. It got slippery. He was out there having fun. The rain helped him so much.
Look, I've seen it too many times.
Look, like in my opinion, the only person on that podium that deserves, and there's no disrespect to Yannick Aigon, and there's no disrespect to Ongaro. The only person on that 3-person podium that I feel earned that this weekend is freaking Barufalo, because he was the 2nd fastest guy all weekend.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. I really can't argue with that. Because Aigon got a bit of a gift in the rain. All of the X-rays seemed very fast in the rain.
They got a gift with just the way they scored it, not with just the rain. Because even if it wasn't for the rain, like if they didn't factor in the 2 different, if they went by times, he was way on in 10th. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I mean that kind of too. But I mean, if it wasn't raining, Aigon would have been finished in like 10th, on the race. Like I'd be surprised if drivers like Skid Moss and Bruno and all these guys would have even made the main, because like it's complete sort of opposite on the rain. And
I mean, Boots and the guys were so Boots Canasta so off pace with the Barton. I was just like, oh my god, like I'm just thinking like these guys are like Zankatine, all these guys who had such a good weekend, and it comes down to weather and it just gets screwed. So unfortunately, a very lackluster finish to what could have been a great race. We was highly upset.
Let's be honest. We have been sort of pretty much ranting for an hour about all the things that are wrong about this race. So I don't think it would have been that great of a race. But at least
I think the racing would have been great had we got a chance to see it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Part I agree with. Yeah.
So the weather robbed us of that. Something I did notice too, real quick before we kind of move on, is I think I'm not sure, but I think in 2020 they were treating the track with like sugar water, hot sugar water, and this year they went to oil.
Yes, and I don't know if
you hate oil. I like oil.
Yeah, but you don't care about the fact that it pollutes like the.
It does not pollute the environment.
It does.
So every time you eat that stuff, you're polluting the environment when you
pump
it out,
because
right?
It's going through your body breaks it down, and then
so you're just polluting your body. So we shouldn't be eating that stuff.
Keenan, things like if you put silicone oil in water, it doesn't mix. If you put
It's not
vegetable
silicone oil.
in
This
water,
is
it
cooking oil,
doesn't mix.
canola oil.
Yeah.
This comes from
Okay.
canola
Keenan,
plants.
Keenan, now after we done recording, you go home, you take a bottle of cooking oil. Okay, you take a glass of water, you fill it with water, and then you put cooking oil in it. See if it
Yeah.
mixes or not.
It does not mix.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it damages
exactly.
that's the whole point. So it doesn't get wet. It doesn't mean it damages
No, but it covers the water. It doesn't mix. It doesn't soak into the environment. If it would soak, it would actually be almost okay. In very small quantities, it can be okay.
Dude, we're
But
talking
this is
about
junk,
one
and
little
this is
patch of earth in the whole
no.
big earth.
It's like
We're talking about a pin, like a pin tip.
no, but oil goes everywhere, and you can't get oil out so easily. And
This
this
stuff
is
is
junk oil. This
biodegradable.
isn't clean.
This isn't shock oil and all this stuff. This is cooking oil. Anyway, we're not having
Yeah,
this
but it's
argument
junk.
today.
It has dirt on it. It's
Food,
junk.
food, dirt, food.
Keenan, you don't know about this stuff. You can't argue.
I don't want to argue. But yeah, I just noticed that's the first thing I said. Oh, but as soon as it got wet, it got so slippery. I'm like, well, it's an oil track. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just think, hey, it's just one of them things that happen. A lot of guys, I'll be happy. A lot of guys go home happy with the finishes that they got. Coelho, Igon, I think the Skidmores, even though the Skidmore would have been in third, he did lose. He would have been in third if it would have went to times.
Yeah, but I mean,
And
like
but at the
the
end of the day, like,
speculation of who win, who lose. I mean,
yeah, it's kind of, but it's kind of,
I think Skidmore was like, I don't think he was even top 10 after quali, and so if he finishes top 5, he's a winner automatically. You know, like on dry, he definitely would have been 5th. I'm pretty sure of that.
Well, I don't. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see that race, and something has to be done. We need a covered race in Europe, and we need another big race in Europe where I don't know what the answer is.
I don't know if covered is needed though. I mean, this race is held like okay, it's historical. It's been held in January for ages, but like if you hold a race in January, it's obviously gonna get like not that great of a weather. So I don't think there's a lot of places in Europe where you can hold a race and you're not gonna have to be afraid.
But we can't have it raining out like this, Max. That's the great thing about Neo Buggy. You had a race, no matter rain, blow, or shine. That's why people flock. That's why people go to the race time events. It's a race, rain, blow, or shine.
No, but
you know what I mean?
Like go to south of Spain on sort of summertime. I have probably never seen it rain in Spain.
Well, we're also talking about wintertime in south of France.
Yeah, so
it's probably going to rain.
Okay. Yeah, but like in general, I don't think covered races are needed. I think it's better to go to existing tracks than just do what's happening in the East Coast in America. Because let's be honest, like tracks are dying out in the East Coast. That's what I feel like.
No, actually they're not. There's quite a lot.
No, but all of them are to small clubs. Like few guys are holding it. Like there's a lot of there's some big venues like the one that held the Nats and stuff like that, but they aren't. Like clubs in America, it's just a track and a driver's stand mostly.
There's no such thing
as
clubs
ones
in America.
I've been to.
You don't have clubs per se in America. They have tracks.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, man. Just kind of disappointed with that end of that race. Obviously, nobody's fault, but
yeah,
a lot of hype, and then just kind of a lot of behind the ball. It's I tell you what, it's like they forgot how to run a race in 2 years without doing it. It seemed like a little bit. I mean, and just like I have to reiterate, I was very disappointed.
Actually, they forgot in 1 year because they had a race in 2020, so they just had 1 year off. Yeah.
Well, no, they had two. So they had to. Yeah. No, You're right.
1 year off, so 2 years in between. But yeah.
All right. Well, moving on. I enjoyed the little bit that I did see, and I look forward to this race every year. I'm disappointed as a race fan that we didn't get to see it. We also hyped it up a lot for American listeners. So they didn't get to see the full excitement of the race either. So it's just kind of like, oh, I'm so frustrated with this, because we
and by the way,
so
actually,
much.
we've been dissing the media, but I gotta give shout out to how Chris from Circus RC takes pictures under the hoods, everything like that. He's fucking amazing at that.
I miss it.
Like it's like that's what was so great in my opinion about Neo and Red RC, because you could see like the atmosphere at the vent, and this is like this part Chris does perfectly. like he isn't English. He isn't that great at English, so he can't write like Phil or guys from Red RC could. But the photos, the under the hoods, all of that stuff, he has down to a T. So especially in America, I'd like to see more of this, like sort of this
he'll be there.
quality of.
He'll be there for DNC.
I hope so.
No, he's gonna be there. I saw that he's gonna be there, so that'll be good.
Oh, Chris, Chris. But I mean,
Yeah.
American sort of American RC media. This is sort of what was like. I think this is sort of what live RC has been missing. They got a lot of other stuff down pretty well.
Yeah, it was funny you said that because
Great.
I was just going through that this morning as I was doing notes for this podcast. I was just flicking through his videos and stuff like that. Well, not videos. Definitely, look, we know, I'm not going to lie. He can do his live walk-arounds and, like, vlogs for the French people. Yeah. That's cool. But, like, he's not a streamer. And it takes more than... He did his best. And RC Mag probably could have done better. But, it is what it is. It seems like everything kind of... To me, it seems like everything kind of rushed in at the last minute as well. So...
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go on because you had something you wanted to talk about on our Dawn and Quiet. This came from our Discord chat, which is almost at 400 members. If you guys want to be a part of the discussion, join the NNRC Discord. Lots of RC discussion, lots of other things going on there. I started a Star Wars channel. If anybody wants to, I've not been as active lately. I've been kind of busy at home. So once I get home, I probably put my phone down for a lot. But this comes from one of our Discord channels, which is called What Grinds Your Gears. So this is basically a place where you can rant and say some stuff or whatever you want that's on your mind. So one of the guys goes, I was discussing with a friend the other weekend the noticeable decline in racecraft and awareness of people in recent years. He mentioned the change in race format as a reason why. Due to people only getting one actual race on a race day, the main. People forget how to race around people, or they don't know what to expect from others doing a race. Since with qualifying, you only race a stopwatch, not each other. It really made sense, and I think he's spot on. So how do you fix it? Heads up qualifying races or heats? It was a common way back then, and then it just stopped being normal at some point. What's your thoughts? So you like this?
I think so. I liked what he said here because this is something I probably haven't. I don't think I have ever brought this sort of angle of it up, but there's more to race formats than just track time and enjoyment and ease of for the driver. There's also the sort of like culture of driving because you could see at AMS, like they had that Superfall race. People were taking each other out like left and right. I was like, what the hell is going on here? Because when it's a long main in off-road, in nitro off-road, people sort of know, like, hey, I have like a long time, I'll drive carb, it's a long main. But now when the main was shortened, these people sort of didn't understand how to drive anymore. Like I saw, like even the pros, like everyone was hitting barriers. People were driving broken cars. Lutch finished the race with like no front end pretty much, like on Truggy. it was a huge carnage, like fun to look at, but not very pretty. So I think this sort of, especially in America, because in Europe we have semis, then we have the main, and there's a lot of like different stuff here. In America, it's qualifiers, and then you wait a day, and then you run for 30 minutes. There isn't much time where you have those starts and then sort of balance each other out, have those long battles. And also the tracks in America generally are more either bumpy or more technical, so you don't get those side-by-side racing as much. I think this is more of an American issue. Because in Europe, I think the racing hasn't changed in my lifetime, at least, because, well, I mean, Joseph said it once, but like the Southern Europeans aren't that nice to drive around.
Right, a little rough. Like, I get that.
But that's different from like Racecraft and that, because in America, I see like cornets, like straight up cornets, like people blowing out. And I think that's one, definitely this sort of assessment of the issue, I think is valid.
I would agree with that too, but let's add something else in here. Rules and regulations, you guys actually have them in Europe, and you use them, and you have functioning federations, and each country has their functioning federation. When in America, there's nothing. There's RAW that does nothing. And so you go to these races and they don't have RDs, and people are just bought up on bad habits. Like if you come in and don't know that, hey, I'm not supposed to give, like, I'm not, like I'm getting lapped her. I shouldn't race you or something like that. Or, look, Robin's racing. We're going to be racing. We're going to touch, we're going to rob and all that stuff. But all out carnage, because there's no regulation. People only learn this they learn from the track. So when there's no repercussions, they're just going to take it to the next big race. And at that big race, there's not going to be any repercussions either, because there's no RD looking out for that. Because he's too busy just trying to get the race going and done, because it's 909,000 entries. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. It's habit.
Yeah.
People just don't know how to race anymore.
Yeah. The big races, for sure, this is sort of the issue, that you get not enough track time. And most of these people run 5-minute mains. Like a lot of these nitro guys run
longer than that.
7.5-minute main.
10-minute mains at the most, maybe. I think it's 10-minute lower mains.
I remember watching 7.5-minute main at DNC.
Possibly if it's like 10,000 entries, yes.
Yeah, but I mean, I've seen it. Like people have run below 10-minute mains at times on nitro, which is silly. It's just like, no, that's not that shouldn't be the case. But I think this issue goes down to levels below that as well. And this is sort of the abundance of classes, because I went to a few club races. Well, I've gone to plenty of club races in America. A lot of times it's actually like there's barely 10 entries in every class on these smaller events. So what ends up happening is you have 8 or 9 guys on the track. It's much less likely that you'll find someone who's the same speed as you. So even though you're racing with these guys for, like, let's say club race at 3 mains or something, there's none who is like your speed, because there's like 12 classes. So everyone's like picking 1 or 2 classes. So instead, if everyone just ran nitro buggy or e-buggy, or you had 2 classes, you'd have like 40 or even 50 drivers per class. So it's much more likely that you will find a driver who's at the same level as you are. And then you guys can battle it out in the main and actually get to sort of racecraft growing. Because most guys sort of first go to club level, then they join a big race, and then they maybe become pro or just be hobbyists or anything of that. But it starts on a club level. And I think this is one of the biggest issues as well. It's just, I've been to races where like it's like 8 car mains, and at Paris, like the main for where Ronafak and these guys were at, like there's like 6 cars in the main. Like if you're a driver trying to sort of grow your racecraft, you're just not gonna find a guy who's the same speed as you. You can't really battle with anyone. You're either really much faster or really much slower. So I think this is definitely one of the issues as well on the club level. Just having so many classes, and you don't really get comfortable driving around other cars on the track. And like open practice and stuff like this as well, because it's like slashes, chuggies, everything is sort of mixed. So you just sort of trying to get around cars, instead of like in Europe, it's control practice. So you see like, okay, this guy's a bit faster than me, I'll let him by and follow him. Look at his lines, you don't have that in any big race on practice day. No way.
Not with
you just
open
try
practice.
to get around the slashes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
open practice I'm talking here. So those like there's a lot of things that are like that make this end result happen. But I think the assessment is completely right.
Not racing with each other enough, not trusting each other enough, not knowing what that person's going to do. I could agree with that. And let's add something else on her too. Everybody wants that fancy dancy Facebook post. Everybody wants a podium, man. They want that podium, and they want that result for that resume
podium spot.
Yeah, they want that resume spot too. So it's because that's the real war right there. The best post on Facebook,
Yeah.
So
Then you get your 30% off deal. And
this is all part of the business.
Stuff.
Yeah, all part of the business plan of the industry. So
yeah.
Good stuff. All right. Well, quick pod today. I hope you guys liked our befuddled assessment of Montpellier. Also, one more thing. I see Motorama is happening this weekend. Big electric race. I saw Scotty Ernst is headed out there. It's an all electric, and it's held alongside other full scale stuff, I believe, as well, or like a whole hobby. They have everything there, like scale trucks. Then they have like full scale racing, all this type of stuff. So, good luck to everybody going out racing at Motoroma this weekend. Yeah, big race this weekend at Rev. That's where I'll be this weekend. Revelation looks like.
Yeah, you're going to DNC.
Yeah, so
Lefty's back in America. It's been like you were last year though. So you haven't had that big of a gap. I was lost abroad in 2019.
2019.
At the Thunder Rally. So that's been a while.
Yeah, it's gonna be good to go back to California. I can't wait.
Yeah,
Rev's probably gonna be off the hook on Saturday. Lots of all the international guys are coming in and all that stuff. So yeah, good stuff, man. Anyway, Max, I know you gotta go. Everybody, thank you for your time. We greatly appreciate it. Shout out to all the NNRC squad around the world. We can't do without you guys. Thank you for the support. We greatly appreciate it. People are liking you now, all homeless one. That's good.
I love that I went to from arrogant to homeless. I don't know if it's worse or better.
Yeah. That's how I feel on the day. You know, soon you'll have another name her soon, so don't worry. Yeah. Thank you. Lots of love, and thank you to all the NNRC squad around the world. Love you guys. Thank you for the love. We greatly appreciate it, man. Yeah. Shout out to all the patrons of the podcast. We can't do it without you guys. So going an extra mile. We greatly appreciate it. I've been pretty active on the Patreon pod.
Yeah, we did
Patreon page
podcast last week. Patreon only podcast. It was actually great. We had a good sesh, just talking, chilling with Lefty. So that was great. I also got some feedback, some positive feedback. So that was nice to hear from.
You got a lot of positive feedback. You're gonna be one later on this week because you're gonna be answering some questions. And actually, our guest this week should be hopefully Johnny Skidmore. So I'm gonna talk to him about his 3rd, 5th place position, his recent changes, and all that good stuff. We got our background music, Daydreaming, playing in the background.
You know what? Today's podcast was a bit negative. We had too many negative news, so we need to.
No, the race wasn't that great, dude.
Like it wasn't. Like I mean, it is from
you know what? And not only that, I heard that like a lot of people were kind of upset with this race, just how it went, and all that type of stuff. And we have to be fair. We have to be fair when we lambaste a race in America for not having coverage, or we go after Dave for not having coverage or something like that. We have to be fair, and I have to be fair. Like, I want to watch these guys race. I want to work out a way we can get this race for more viewers. Let's figure out how we can get some English announcers there so people can understand what's going on, because this is a great race, and I want to see people get excited about it. So it's not about dissing the race. It's about let's make this awesome race better for everybody to share.
I'd like to see EFRA getting more involved, the brands working with EFRA.
This is where EFRA could have helped out a lot.
Yeah,
maybe the French organization doesn't want to work with them. Who knows? So that's a whole other thing,
But I mean, I think what they already did last year, sort of English commentary of these races, I think that is definitely needed. I'd be very happy to see that in the future. I think tomorrow is going to be better for RC. I hope so.
For sure. All right. Well, like I said, thank you all to the patrons. We always go off on a tangent. If you wish to be a patron, there's a link in the written description. We can't do this without the awesome sponsors of the podcast. Remember, everybody, showing the sponsors some love, shows the podcast some love. There's coupon codes. There's affiliate links. If you could use some of those, we got a slice of that. We greatly appreciate it. Shout out to Invisible Speed, TZO Tires, High Tech RC, TNR Fuels, Beach RC, Techno RC, Lugs Tires, Mayako, JQSM, G-Spec RC Tuning, Papa Willie's Tractortronic, Racecraft USA, Clinic RC, JTP RC, RCGP, House of RC. Shout out to my boy RC Kevin, the Viking, Dr. Hagberg. That was Alex Hagberg. You all know who the Viking is. Good to see that the Spaniard is coming to DNC. Happy to see that. Max, anything to say before we sign out of her good buddy?
Nothing much. Just enjoy RC. That's always.
Yeah, RC is awesome, and meet new people. And you can meet new people on the NNRC Discord. And you can talk about anything. So, if that said, Max and Lefty, we're out till later on this week. Another podcast should be dropping on Friday. I can make podcasts happen even when I'm on the airplane. You know what I mean? So,
wow.
Yeah, really. With that said, Max and Lefty. We're out. You guys have a good one, and we'll talk to you later on this week.